Let's roll.
Hey everybody, welcome back to an all-new X's for Show. I'm Nico. You guys can check me out at Nico Action, NICOACTION.
Hey everyone, I'm in this square now, and I'm Jonah. You can follow me places at Peak Jonah.
Hey everybody, I'm dying from a heat wave. TK at TK Accidental.
And I'm Tori, at SM Tori. That's Tori with an I.
And that makes me your producer, KEVO. You can find me at KEVO Really. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment so we know what you want us to cover in the future. But we got some cowboy stuff going on today.
Yeah, seriously, Brokeback Jonah Hex down there is fucking me up completely.
You putting a hex on me?
Yes, hex on you, a pox on both your houses. I'm gonna get it out of the way. SBFF, that's show best friend forever. SBFF, Matt, asked me what I thought of the lip sync this week. And I was really disappointed because the version of the episode I saw this week didn't have a lip sync. The version of the episode I saw this week had a gross miscarriage of justice performed by a mob coming out against one beautiful person who did a better job.
It had one lip sync performance.
And because the real issue is I think we're getting to a point where, like, I actually think that Rue just didn't give it to Denali just to be like, girl, you think you've got one of the biggest? Because, like, honestly, I feel like I've seen Ginger lose for better.
She won phone, right?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, it's the same thing. I mean, so here's my thing. I think I get that Denali brought a whole bunch of physical skills to the lip sync and so much energy and craft of movement, and that is very easy to point to and say directly, like, nobody else did those moves. It is really difficult to drop into a split like that. Nobody else was moving that much. The energy wasn't as good from the other person. What is insane about Ginger is I think 99% of other Drag Race contestants, Denali would have won that lip sync if she had been doing it against Daya, if she had been doing it against Acid, if she had been doing it against Georges. I think there are so many other queens who would have lip synced like Denali did to that song, and Denali's version of that kind of lip sync was top tier. The thing is, Ginger immediately stepped forward and set the energy and the tone for what the lip sync was going to be. And it was not, that it is a dance track. It is an upbeat pop track, and you can dance to it, but it's also not one of Miley's like best dance tracks or radio track. It's kind of a Hannah Montana track.
I already love what you said. You're right. She just stood there and watched Denali move and did nothing in a way that literally bored me.
She set the tone, but it wasn't a good thing.
She commanded the stage. For me, what it reminded me of was Latrice versus Kenya Michaels. Latrice is just standing there, but Latrice, Kenya's doing absolutely too much and completely missing the point.
To a song that's a slow ballad.
Yeah. Yes, I know. I know that's a big difference here, but for me, this is such a... Because it's like, again, I feel like it's kind of more of a Hannah Montana song than a Miley song to me. Like, it just has a thing where, like,
they even say Miley, it's like you don't even know the song.
Yeah, Mary Duda, I don't know. I just don't think Denali won. I think Ginger took command of the entire thing, and the only thing I will say is she has already 2 other times, maybe 3 other times, done the imitating what the other contestant is doing, I can't do it, haha moment, which I think is funny, and it's not like a shablam where a lot of people can do it a lot of the time, so you really get sick of it, but it is now an over signature move.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I just really feel like Denali, yeah, you're right, she commanded the stage because they focused on this much of the screen for Ginger every time, and Denali was big wide shots every time, so it's really easy to command the stage when you're in a small box. But I really felt like this was a smear campain.
I could show receipts that it is not quite that, but I hear you.
I can too. I do the screenshots too.
But the tone that I felt it set was uncomfortable. It made me feel like Denali was doing something wrong by actually actively physically performing.
Yeah.
And the fact that Ginger's lip sync performance was just derisively rolling her eyes at the girl that was actually lip syncing. So, like, it didn't just push the joke over the line for me. It pushed it really far over the line for me because I was like, but she actually is doing something. So you rolling your eyes at her feels weird because you're doing nothing and just making fun of her lip syncing.
I also hated the Give 'em Nothing challenge, so it's me.
I think this is for me. I want to say the following. These are my two favorite queens from this bracket. I think Denali did. You could say that she was the Kenya Michaels in this Latrice versus Kenya Michaels style of two very different styles of lip syncs. But I think that what Denali did was she did not just throw every move on the stage. She was very specific. They were very in tune with the lyrics. This wasn't just how many tricks can I throw out. I think Ginger's style of lip syncing is unbeatable in the room in a way that is not that does not transfer as well on the camera. And I think that I think that's what we're dealing with. I think Ginger gave a very good lip sync for her, and I think if she was up against someone of her caliber doing something similar, I do think she should have won. I think this was a lot more thumb on the scale than we want to than I think we've even seen we even saw in the Georges and Mistress Isabel Brooks lip sync. And so I think Denali has a lot to be upset with. I think that this should be a clarion call to drag queens that you don't have to shablam it out to make it work. I know we saw this a little bit in All Stars 9 where I was like, I'm really excited that we're not just giving it to every girl who can drop a split, that we're really talking about emotional connection. And while I feel that Ginger had better emotional connection to Defying Gravity than she did for See You Again, I think she brought it. And I think that it's just that thing of, is it about the more modern, younger, athletic version that is still connecting to the song, or is it about just full park and bark, make you feel the feelings and take your dollars as you go?
I think multiple things to be true at the same time, depending on the song. You want a cackety cack, give me a 5-6, give me an 8 count, give me a split, give me a death drop, give me a backflip, give me everything. And there are times where it doesn't call for the song. I want to harken back to what I think is a beautiful performance. All Stars 4, Manila doing How Will I Know?
Yes.
And it's just, she's doing this performance, and it's not even specific park and bark, but it's nothing about it is splits. Nothing about it is shablam. It's all about connecting to the emotion of the song and conveying that emotion, that I am a young woman. How will I know that he loves me? Ginger, I think, beautifully excels in that style. And I, as the biggest Ginger apologist, am very happy that she won, but I do think they're not realizing the optics of what this looks like and what this does for people watching the show. I often think that when things like this happen, the people producing the entire show feel very disconnected from the fandom, despite listening to a lot of it, where they don't think, well, we gave Ginger a win last week, and some tea that I found out from hearing about it from people talking about Roscoe's, the challenge last week was actually way more emphasized about the story than the outfits themselves, which was weird because it didn't seem like that was the case from how they edited it. So there's already this disconnect where we think the outfits should have a higher impact, but they don't, which is what they were told. So it's not. So by that case, yeah, Ginger and Dyer won because they had the funniest performance. That's just what the judges usually go for. But you have that, and then you have this episode where I do want to say, arguably, nobody was bad. These were actually 2 banger songs for my money, and I thought everybody did a great performance. I think there's arguments that kind of anybody could have been in the top. But it's, you have Ginger come on and you do this country number promoting her album. It comes across a certain way, and I think they need to kind of think about divvying wins. This doesn't feel like Irene sweeping. This feels like gearing things for Ginger, and I, as someone who's a fan of Ginger, am almost even a way offended because Ginger is so talented. She doesn't need this. It's not clear about what they are doing, but that's what it kind of comes across as. And then you even saw on Ginger's face, she didn't think she won this week. So when Ru said you're in the top 2, this is an honest reaction. She
Agreed.
didn't think she was going to be in the top.
I even want to make a point about that too when you rap.
And so I think there's always going to be a difference in styles. I think Ginger is one of the most phenomenal performers that the show ever has, and I truly am such a fan. I do wish they gave the win to Denali, because Ginger was going to make it through almost guaranteed regardless.
Well,
and I like when they divvy things up.
That's what I wonder now, if that even is part of the drama that Ru is trying to engineer. Everyone's been talking about the fact that this pretty much guarantees Ginger into the semifinals unless there's point drama, unless something goes wrong. So maybe that even is part of the engineering this situation, is to try and stir up that type of controversy. Because like we all say, it's not that Ginge isn't doing well. We just felt this was a very strange move, and maybe that's part of why.
And the one last thing I just want to add on it, Ginger is a star, and she's showing up to do a job. Of course, she's going to show up for a call that says, hey, do you want a chance to win $200K? She's going to do her best. It sometimes bewilds me when people like Ginger, who do excel at challenges, who do well at this show, because Ginger is great at Drag Race, and they come across like, no, she should have just laid out on the stage and did nothing and said to Ru, no, I don't want these points, give them to somebody else. No, don't give it to me, don't pick me, Ru. No.
And to like piggyback on that, I think the point I was trying to make earlier, where I was saying that I think Ginger did not win this, isn't Ginger sucks and Ginger shouldn't park and bark. I literally said that's exactly why she won Defying Gravity. My problem winds up being that this was exactly the discourse we had with the All-Star 17 finale. One girl stood there literally going,
yes.
And one girl cacked across the stage, and we were told, well, it's different types of performances, and now it turns out it's not. Now it turns out it almost seems like Ru is annoyed at the girls that do acrobatics. And there does start to be, for my money, a personal stake in this. In as far as we know Ru does loves to torture girls for the extended drama of it. And Denali clearly came in expecting a win for a lip sync. There is nothing better you can do than give it to a girl who is absolutely an all-star that you can justify the win of, to take it from someone like Denali. And the reason just being, it's either she's making good TV or she's not. And we just can't play both sides of this. She's either a woman who produces a show or a man who produces a show and is trying to make the best ratings. And so it actually is in her best interest to fuck with Denali every chance she can. And the producers should be doing tight shots on the park and bark and wide shots on the splits, or they're not doing a good job directing the park and bark. And I really do think that some of these lip syncs are getting to the point where we're just being told that that's the winner. I don't think we actually get to have an opinion anymore. I really do feel like the production has gone a certain way. It's been too many of this.
I also think that we are swiftly reaching the point where we need to understand that if the producers have a favorite, that doesn't mean the favorite is in on it. I don't think that it's a grand conspiracy of Ginger calling them up and saying, I will do your All-Stars 10 as long as the following is met. And World of Wonder is like, oh, goodness gracious, Ginger, whatever you want. If production is weighting the scales, it is generally without the girl's knowledge. Because can you trust a drag queen to keep that much of a secret? Unclear.
And it hurts them.
And it hurts them. So you have to keep them out of the loop. They are the patsy. And then it just becomes about how well you can defend yourself in this patsyism while production lays out the red carpet and you're just standing there going, wow, the first one was improvising a cute story with someone. The second one was a country song. And the third one is about to be a physical comedy challenge dressed as a dog. My goodness, if this doesn't scream three challenges for Ginger Minge, I don't know what else you want.
I just want to be like Mary Duda. I don't know if you know me for real. I don't know if you're in my backyard right now. And if you are, girl, come inside. I mean, it is a little Boston Rob from Survivor on Traitors, though. I love the reference because I do just want to be clear. TK, this is not a we hate TK party.
No, I mean, I agree with a lot of what TK is saying.
I really am starting to feel like there is no consistency. and that is where my frustration is really starting to come in. Because like I do think that it's really funny that we were bringing up the challenges. Why is it, who am I forgetting? One Glam Slam. Olivia got no design challenges in the first bracket after winning Glam Slam. I also like, some girls are getting multiple songs, some girls aren't, and there's like memetic value in that. Like, I want songs. I want a song with RuPaul in Star Booty. So
I don't like that musical.
I did not like that musical, but so yeah, there were other parts of this episode. Orville Peck showed up and did absolutely nothing.
He looked good though.
He looked great. He was just kind of there. He did get some good notes. I like that he told Cynthia, cut the line. It's too wordy, just cut the first part of it. I don't know if they just cut out all the like actual musical things he was helping them with, because the entire time they were just all thirsting after him. And this
He looked like a man. That's all. He's just a guy in a mask.
He's basically the Phantom of the.
Yeah, they're all
He's
going
basically Tuxedo Mask. You didn't do anything.
But sometimes you need your little black feather to be able to climb to the highest heights.
Oh Lord. Also, everybody's outfits, not everybody's, but specifically Cuckoo's and Denali's outfits in this sequence, too cute for words.
Denali, no, that's Daya. Daya looks so tall there.
Yeah, Dia's like 6'6", out of drag.
It's insane.
And
And
she
this
wears
is
10-inch
Denali's
heels.
outfit.
Denali also.
We didn't get more of these, but look at these pants.
Yeah, I found them, and we're debating if I'm buying those sweatpants or not.
Okay, well hold on. They are
They are expensive, which is why I'm debating whether to buy them or not.
for the lack of fabric.
There's a lot of expensive in Denali's wardrobe. Let me tell you.
Is it a tearaway?
No, they're
Oh.
made like that.
Oh.
So
Yeah.
I do also I can't in good faith be an unfair giant bitch. The rumors that Denali had a similar reaction to me about the result of the lip sync, and perhaps Aurora Monroe'd her way right off the stage. And that is of course left in a big storm. She
There we go.
here's where I feel a way about it. There's a lot of pressure for some of these girls. Like, I would never want to be Monet and do that vocal performance because we're still making fun of it. But like, as Kevo pointed out, Acid Betty got a second use out of that Nancy Grace wig, and it looked the same. And so
Oh my
like,
God.
there are girls that are expected to do certain things. I think Denali is expected to win a lip sync. And I, as much as I love her, as much as I think she is amazing, if she had the storm off she had, that's a little 10th grade.
I think it falls under the I get it, but I need you to have some decorum, because it could have very easily become the producers just decide to fuck you over with that, because they could have just aired it instead. And so that's kind of what you have to remember, is that if you want to, you can have those feelings, but you need to have them silently when cameras are cut, unfortunately, if you want to protect yourself in the edit.
And only if you want to continue working with Drag Race, WoW, whatever. If you don't want to and you have no desire after that, you're like, I got what I got and I'm good, I'm out. Then you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
The only thing I want to say is, this is like rumor and conjecture. We don't actually know if this is true or not. What I will say is, watching Untucked, and when all the other girls are escorted off to go do the small deliberation about their points first, and she and Ginger are putting the badges on, it came across as somebody who wanted to win, but wasn't like, it was not the energy of someone who specifically stormed off, who was heated, who had a moment, who was just yelled at by RuPaul. None of that at least came off, unless they're she's the greatest actor in the entire world. So I don't know.
Artist reset.
Yes, I don't know how much of that is true, because I have to know when / where it actually happened, because she didn't really walk off stage. She walked off first from everybody else when the music was cleared, but she was still there. She might have been a little, pressed. But we said the same thing about Mistress when Mistress didn't win the first challenge in Bracket Pink. Mistress was pressed, like a panini.
Yeah.
Or, like a button down on Friday night. Today's Sunday. So I agree with what we're all saying. We just don't know if that actually happened. And from the small little clips that we saw backstage, it doesn't seem like that makes sense.
Yeah.
Ultimately, I'm glad we're on these. I'm a huge Miley Cyrus fan. I don't love this. I love Miley. I love Miley's looks, and I love a lot of this idea. These runways were just kind of fine. As much as I love them, I don't think a lot of the girls actually found inspiration in Miley. I think they found things they liked in the clothes, but like this didn't feel like a Miley retrospective, I guess, because even as a huge Miley fan, I still kind of take a step back and go like, she wears fashionable, cool things, but I don't think of her as having one definable aesthetic or so many looks that are so recognizable like Madonna, I guess. And so like, I love this, but 6 girls was the right number of girls for Night of 1,000 Mileys, or in this case, 6.
And even then, 2 were from 2015, I think.
And 2 were from VMAs.
Yeah.
It is, to answer, Mary, to answer your question as to what they were told not to do Hannah Montana or not. 1, Hannah Montana is a copywritten character by Disney. They cannot use that without permission, and they're not going to buy permission to use that copyright. 2, they have to choose outfits from public images domains that they can show on air, because again, they are not paying for any rights for photos. So any images you see are completely free to use.
Yeah. It also reminds me of just how fried her hair has been over the years.
I also think that yes, Night of 1,000 Mileys. I actually think doing with just 6 is actually too few. I think we would have wanted to see more options over the years. She is a similar one who has had many quote unquote eras due to how many different stylistic choices she has made for each album. It almost makes me want to say we could have had a best of both worlds runway, where it's a wig and costume reveal kind of thing. So that would have, I think that might have hit a little better than 6 girls picking a VMAs and MTV Music Award video.
So you wanted the best of both Hannahs?
Yes.
I think you're both right. I think the problem is Miley Cyrus does not have a lot of like iconic looks. She has particularly iconic looks. She has worn a lot of fashion, but like she's in a Mackie number, which is amazing. But like when you say Mackie, Cher, like, and other people have worn Bob Mackie, but when you say it, you say Cher. Even Madonna has worn Bob Mackie, and you might say Madonna's Bob Mackie look, but if you say Madonna, everybody wore kimono, you know what I mean? So like Madonna has iconic looks, Cher has iconic looks. Miley doesn't really. Her eras, she's also like, I mean, it's just a thing I think with some of the younger pop stars, their eras aren't as strong. And so she has had a lot of them, but like there's just nothing I mean, kill us if we ever have to do Night of 1,000 Billie Eilishes. I think Tori is right insofar as we might have diluted the sting of the fact that there's nothing really to do with this if we just had more people doing more things, just to have more stuff happening. Honestly, I think like this is her most defining look. Like the Denali's and Cynthia's, like when she was Banger's Dead Pets era.
Dead Pets!
That's the closest and so, you know, Daya kind of had it too a little bit. Like it's when her hair is the most fried that you're like, that's the most. Everything after that is either I'm a child star, please respect me, or fuck, I went crazy for a few eras. Now please respect me on the other side of that. And it's all just a little bit conservative, but if she had kind of kept being out there, she might have actually started to develop a definable style. But yeah, I mean, I think that's always going to be the challenge. We're also just like we're running out of we're running out of women with these styles. I mean, they're never going to do Night of 1,000 Tori Amoses. They should do Night of 1,000 Bjorks, but they're never going to do Night of 1,000.
Night of 1,000 Hunters.
Have they done 1,000 Marilyns yet? I feel like that's coming.
Yes,
No.
they have.
They have?
did. Okay.
Yes. No, they have not. No. No, I'm sorry. No, they have not. I am mistaken. I'm mistaking season 9's Madonna for the redo.
Yeah.
And I only wonder if they won't, because even like the girls are not going to know that at all. If they're, if it were a season of Lexi Loves and younger, they're not going to know Marilyn Monroe's looks at all.
Congratulations.
Oh yeah, recently married Lexi Love.
Recently engaged, I think, right?
No, I think they got, maybe it's just engaged.
The truth is, nothing says good decision like immediately getting out of rehab and getting engaged. So I think,
hey, work for John Mulaney.
Oh man.
Well, John Mulaney had a baby on the way.
And John Mulaney's wife slashes through incredibly expensive art by accident. So
She is a ninja.
She won that Grammy. Miley won this Grammy like probably right before these guys went into filming. So like, because this was done last year, and Miley won in 2024. That I just won my Grammy moment was from last summer.
Yeah. I was also thinking about how I have to imagine this was planned to be around the album release. And they're like, the fact that they didn't have her, but then they spent a while talking about Miley Cyrus, which is very sweet, don't get me wrong, and it's true, she has totally been a sister, but it was just a little bit of an odd thing. Like, you really do see with so many shows that MTV gets, at a certain point they go, okay, you have to make your show look higher budget than we ever have before, but we're not really going to give you more money. We're going to make you do more advertising, and then we're going to keep most of that money. You saw it with Real Worlds. The early Real Worlds are so grungy, and it really is just 7 people. I mean, the house is nice, but most of the money is on the house. Exactly. Like 1 through 3, it's a very nice. It's a house that can fit 7 people and cameras. Like, but it's only that nice. It's not. And then later ones, the houses are insanely nice, but they're also McMansions. It's constant product placement. I mean, the Trishelle season is the worst because they're sponsored by the hotel that they are living in. I have funny stories about that season.
They get paid in penis references.
Yes. So anyway, I mean, it's just it did feel like this Miley one was planned specifically around the fact that her label said she's gonna have an album coming out around this time. Can we get an episode? Which is fine, totally fine, and the girls can do Night of 1,000 Mileys, but like, we're all talking about the thing that is ultimately kind of the disconnect that's going to happen when you do this stuff, which is like, maybe it's ill-advised to do it at all, probably ill-advised to do it with so few girls, weird to have them talking about Miley but not have Miley there, especially because, again, the country challenge aspect of it all, like, it both is a Miley challenge and isn't a Miley challenge. It like,
and then why Clueless?
Yeah,
the Clueless thing was so weird.
The Clueless thing was actually I love that as a mini challenge idea.
Same.
Perfect. What does that have to do with anything?
Well, it has nothing to do with anything.
Though.
Also, incredibly frustrated at how few people could do even a passable Cher Horowitz. Like, Acid Betty. I thought better.
There goes your social life.
Yeah. Cynthia and Alyssa, I get it. You're fine. Daya, you're maybe a little young. Denali too. I think actually Denali's was probably the best, so it's fine. But yeah, Ginger and Acid Betty. I was surprised that they could not get a good Cher Horowitz down.
And half of them do look a little bit like they're doing Iggy Azalea, and so I'm a little bit. I'm a little.
Oh, they are.
Yeah,
they are.
That's their bigger reference.
The weird thing for me about all of the back and forth on all of this that you're saying is perhaps what's even fault, because like, okay, I was one of the people who was like, wow, there was a Wicked challenge on Lego Masters the same week that there was a Wicked appearance on Drag Race.
Yeah.
That was clearly timed with the re-release of the film and the trailer. Miley's movie, this did not quite line up with, but it lined up close enough. And then that's when it got me thinking. 2 of the looks were from VMAs. This is still owned by Viacom right now. So they didn't have to pay for any of those images no matter what. Any second of footage from the VMAs was free to them.
Well, and you notice the VMA footage is of her on the runway. It's not a Getty image. They have to pay for the Getty images, but Getty images are common to pay for, and the show's fine to do that. But when it's VMAs, they literally don't. Those are their camera people.
This is still from the music that from the filming of when it was live.
Yeah. I also want to say that it was hysterical when they showed the all I know is that Hannah Montana is friends with a bunch of drag queens. She had a bunch of drag queens on the stage with her. They were Drag Race girls. I knew those girls. And I just wanted to be like, man, did they get so fucking lucky that image didn't have like Sherry Pie tongue kissing Sharon Needles' asshole or something, because like they got lucky. Because like when we were rewatching some of the Snatch Game classics that we were rewatching on YouTube, like there are whole Snatch Games where like 3 out of the 4 people they're performing are canceled as fuck, and 2 or 3 of the girls are canceled now. So like they got lucky that this wasn't Shangela doing splits.
No, there was a rare Courtney Act sighting though.
Yes.
That's my.
She got other things. She's busy.
She's a Big Brother winner.
Michelle
can't say the same.
No.
She's got a new podcast on Mom.
She does. Her crying with Adore. Bianca and Courtney are Adore's lesbian mothers.
I know. It hurts. It hurts my heart.
Speaking of lesbian mothers, can I use this as a segue to talk about how much I love Cuckoo, and I think Cuckoo deserves the world. Cuckoo should win everything.
As Cuckoo reminds me very much of my auntie. So my dad is very, very, very Cuban, and this is just every grandmother I have.
My grandma, as I said last week, my grandmother emigrated from Spain to Puerto Rico to Florida, and Cynthia literally speaks just like her. And every time Cuckoo's on my screen, I am happy, but she genuinely did amazing this week, and I don't know. I think Cuckoo deserves the world, and we need to be giving Cuckoo her flowers. This is like a person I never met who genuinely like deserved Miss Congeniality. Cuckoo was there for 3 episodes, and the entire season 8 was like, no, she's the best thing that's ever happened to us. We love her dearly. I think Cuckoo deserves the world, and I want her to have everything in the world. She's not making it, but I adore her.
I'm sad some of these girls aren't getting a real, what we've come to know as an all-star season, where you get to stay the whole season and get to show yourself off. It's sad that we once again are only getting so many episodes with her.
And just to be that faggot for a second, number one, yes, Mary, I said my grandmother. I understand she's like 40. She's
44.
She's
44.
My grandmother speaks.
Just
that's the accent. The jazz.
The jazz. I just like
also that she is just so raspy now.
Yeah.
Oh my god! Right,
Yeah.
and, like,
Carrie Fisher was 61. Let's, age does what it does.
oh Jesus, Carrie. Sometimes you're like Carrie Fisher was 61, but Raquel Welch is 85, and you just want to be like, what? I specifically, and not to be that like a lot of times these girls come on here and they're like, like Vanjie comes on and Vanjie's like, I've been taking vocal lessons. I sing. I'm not just a Hanna-Barbera cartoon. And like you clap for her because she, you really get to know me, and you're really impressed, right? And like it raises the fucking bar so hard that you're really impressed she can practice law. And then Cuckoo comes in with pitch control, vibrato, a smooth tone that transitions to a heavy tone, an understanding of head voice and throat and then chest. I can only imagine listening to Cuckoo sing in Spanish is far more beautiful, because the it's something that like it's unfortunate, but like I'll never sing in Spanish as well as I sing in English, despite having been around it my whole life, because it's just not the thing I know better mouth face wise. I swear to God, Cuckoo fucking blew my mind, mama.
I just love her.
We are definitely getting to the point where we just need Drag Race PR, and I almost like, but for the fact that I want to see Spanish-speaking queens on the most popular version of the show. It represents what we are in America. It's very, it's important. The show does not treat them well and is not prepared to handle them. Cynthia overcomes that, but like she would probably be one of the best winners of all time if the show knew how to handle a Spanish, like was able to give them a fair chance. Poor Alyssa she's not doing great at all, and a big chunk of it really feels like to me that she does not speak English, and her lack of English gets treated as funny, and sometimes that's to her advantage, but sometimes she's not joking. Like sometimes she's just trying to figure out her into the challenge. And it's sweet when especially Cynthia sort of coaches her through it, but the show, the edit, the producers, Rue kind of treat it like, oh, you silly goose, why don't you just speak English so we can take you seriously? And it's been like this from the beginning. It was like this for Kenya Michaels. It's been like this for so many years.
For Jessica Wilde.
Jessica, thank you. For Yara Sophia.
Yara and Alexis, that call out in All Stars 1 is wild.
And a lot of times I love that it's these two because they love each other, but a lot of times the two PR girls in the room don't like each other and shouldn't have to, because they're the only two Spanish speakers and they're on a fucking log together trying to.
This isn't a panda exhibit.
Yeah, it makes me really sad because they just are handicapped by that thing, and it's such a silly thing to be handicapped by because it ought not to do anything for you in drag, and when it comes to doing drag, and yet consistently they will, through intention or not, the edit will be this kind of lesser silly competitor who's so out there. That person's not out there, they just don't speak English, and so that thing that they said is their best approximation of the phrasing. They're not joking with you or being silly, they're just trying to get the words out so that they can move on to the next stage of whatever this fucking challenge is.
Yeah. Our non-English speakers are really handicapped because above all else, RuPaul loves to laugh, and humor does not translate well.
And she will laugh at you in a way that she says is with you. Mm-hmm. She loves to laugh. Sometimes shit's not funny. Yeah. Sometimes nobody's joking.
Well, it's that sitcom-modification of reality that's happened where I understand why you're laughing, but there's no fourth wall that you're laughing from behind. This is a real person and you need to communicate with them.
And it's sort of where Mary, again, backyard mama, just come inside. Was it too much to ask them to give a reggaeton challenge?
Yeah.
I just want to point out these girls probably dance to a lot more reggaeton influenced music than country music in the lip sync. Yes. So why are you not I just don't want to hear, it shows them being well-rounded. Are you telling me that RuPaul gets out, are you telling me that RuPaul does a full-on Trading Spaces straw room? Is that what you're telling me?
Is this trying to court back the red voters? Because guys, I don't think this is going to do it.
I personally am very happy we do not have a bunch of mostly white people doing a reggaeton challenge. Personally.
I get that aspect of it, but again, Nico's point that they all probably interact with reggaeton inspired music is a really important point. I think country is so easy for white people to camp, and this challenge is actually a great example. We actually haven't talked about the challenge yet, but I was so pleased with these songs. My biggest complaint always with Drag Race songs is 9 times out of 10 they are, I'm this person and I do the thing and I want the crown, do. I love when the song lyrics have nothing to do with I am the queen, I do the thing, but it's literally you actually have to write a verse to a song that anybody would write. And actually, unfortunately, Poor Acids was the only one that I was like, this kind of it's your character's version of a Drag Race Girl song. But I actually love this song. I thought it was so good, and I wish they talked more about the fact that she is a trained dancer and was fine, because everybody kept being like, and the fact that you're still alive, Acid Betty. And she was fully fine to dance. Like, as she pointed out, she's a trained dancer, and I thought danced really well. And they were like, you obviously can't move, but you stepped okay. She came to training in those fucking heels.
And that was something that really did kind of strike me interestingly. I love our local gay scene in Jersey, and like the basic, big drag bar around here is Paradise and Asbury, and they've started adding line dancing like multiple Saturdays a month, and that's really fucking cool, and I love that. But I promise you, having been there, the clientele is not a very country clientele that are like finally coming out to the gay bar to learn line dancing. It is a bunch of gays making line dancing Jersey. And so like, I also really kind of do get where they were like, wow, it's amazing that you could dance like that. Because part of what they're trying to say is like, we can't believe you know a two-step. And like, it's a little bit like, we thought that all of you girls could only cack. And like, although I do need to say, what shiny lamprey is Denali dressed as?
Everybody's correct on theme. One, I'm so in love with Daya's outfit. It's not even funny. I think she looks so fucking amazing.
Completely agree.
Like, the cross of like a very punk, rocky aesthetic to country.
Yeah, that is.
No notes there.
That is definitely Tom of the Old West Finland.
I love this so much.
Also, what's her name from Final Fantasy X?
Hulu!
Yeah, thank you.
But I have no idea what the hell Denali was wearing. Everybody else had a proper, like, she looks I love this. She looks like a fun Muppet.
She looks amazing and gorgeous.
I've been watching a lot of Fraggle Rock. This is a character from Fraggle Rock.
KEVO, I don't know if you have it from a slightly higher angle, but the top is a cowboy hat. Like,
The rest is
I know. It's so weird. Like,
but it was a lily pad.
She did think about something. Like, if God, I was thinking the exact same thing. Like, I literally couldn't understand what she was possibly thinking, but there is an angle where you can see that it's a cowboy hat.
You know what? It's a little bit showgirl in the saloon. I'll give her that.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely giving like I know it's something
like a derby lady hat.
That's what I was thinking. It was very derby. I was thinking it was something Dolly would wear, but even then, if it were a Dolly look, it would be Dolly Goes to Aspen. It's
hell no, Dolly.
It's country adjacent, but it's a theme by way of country. And the theme is like Snow Bunny, but it's like your local country gal does Snow Bunny. And it's just a little too much that.
Carrie Underwood for LL Bean.
Exactly. Thank you. That it's exactly that. But she had an idea. It probably should have been her second or third idea.
Or she should have skipped to those.
Yeah.
I hope they do a Night of $1,000, Mary. And I'm telling you right now that if one bitch doesn't come as Dollywood, I hope they do another. And I hope a bitch comes straight up as Dollywood. I'm not just full
like,
fucking...
you're just like, you have a roller coaster on your dress, and that actually would be incredibly fucking funny.
Sam.
Do it, please. No, this was I would have to check the credits. I do not know who wrote the song. They usually will credit it somewhere. I wonder if this song sounded better because Orville did it as opposed to Leland. Not that Leland doesn't have.
No, they didn't pay Orville Peck to write a song.
No, it was written by the piano man.
Oh,
the man who was at the piano produced and wrote it.
Skelton Key.
Piano man.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, he sounded great.
Francis Scott Key. Yes.
The Francis Scott Key.
Key.
Oh, that guy. No, that's a different guy.
Francis Ford Key.
This is great.
We're doing key bumps?
Well,
always.
I have a genuine question, though, because we've been saying this is week 7, 8. We've been watching this whole time, watching how the gameplay has been shaking out. Now we know this is, and unless there's a golden bitchler surprise, the only musical challenge of this bracket when each of the other brackets have had 2. How do we feel about this being the only music challenge? And how do we feel about how this gameplay is shaking out?
It's a shame because a lot of these girls can fucking sing. And I do, TK, you were so right. And I hadn't even really thought about it, that like one of the things that I really am so tired of is, we make a lot of jokes about like love from above, but like we don't make enough jokes about like I'm on the crown, here to shake it down, pound the ground, eat a hound. Like you just don't have enough. Like these girls really do use the same well, and like the fact that they didn't use the same well here, that this was a little bit more character design, it is where this one was kind of like a weird challenge, because like I genuinely wish they had gone a little bit further in and made it like a little bit more of a rusical about like barely a rusical. I guess I'm talking more a little bit like like putting on a review where these girls are playing essentially tropes and like doing, because that's what this show is really good at, fake rusicals in the first place. And so like this was such a good challenge. I would have done a little bit more because KEVO, you're right that there isn't more musical challenge from these amazing performers. I think 5 of them sang phenomenally, and one of them overcame the fact that she is in fact a Latin speaking Muppet. So I
think they should have let her keep doing it because it was very funny. I enjoyed it. It was range.
I mean,
That's so hard.
it is highly possible that one good song is better than 2 shitty songs. And that's where we landed on this group.
So back to it for a second. The composer credits on this song are wild. They are nobody who normally does it. It is the guy at the piano, who is Benjamin Steinberg. Who
Thank you.
Is a storied film and TV composer who has worked with Carrie Fisher. And then the other credits are a bunch of executive producers at Drag Race, like people. One guy who I have seen, like who used to do so much of their TikTok and Instagram, and he like is a WoW producer. Like he makes content for them, but is also technically a Drag Race producer. He has a credit, and then 2 other guys who are Drag Race producers and just like general reality TV producers, none of whom get credited on any other song. I for the life of me, I cannot imagine how this group was pulled together to write these 2 specific songs, and why that never happens otherwise. And
why it sounded so good.
Well, why it sounded so good, I think, is that it's this group. I mean, I think the point is like it's not a good idea to have Leland producing a skit song. Like,
agreed.
I mean, like if they're really gonna double, because all of these girls would like a track, please. Like everybody wants, everybody would like a good, successful song, like RuPaul gets. And although none of them are particularly, but you know what I mean. Like they're fully fleshed out, produced tracks.
Yep. Success, lucrative is the word.
Yeah. Unless you really strike magic and gold, most of the tracks that we get for the show are the equivalent of a rusical skit, or like nobody watches any of the improvs and is like, mark that one down for the ages. They're just funny in the moment, and then you never really think about them again except to kind of reference one funny line. It's mostly the same thing with the songs. And they hire young, energetic producers who are willing to show up and get the job done really fast. There's a fast turnaround on these things. Nobody's giving their best work because you save that for something is going to be lucrative, is going to be on an album, could have a choice at radio, could do better than tens, never more than hundreds of thousands of streaming numbers. Basically no RuPaul track, show track gets millions. So that's all fine, but it's fascinating that they picked such a different group, and you do notice that there is something about these tracks that is better, that works.
There's an elevation to the idea, because like something that I notice as a songwriter a lot is like when you say a song can be made jazzy to make a jazz song, you can't just take a song, translate the chords exactly and the vocals exactly, and it's jazz. You have to add the grace notes, you have to add the passing tones, you have to put it in the right voicing, add the ninths, the 13ths, etc. it isn't just change the song, it's perfect. It kind of maybe seems to me that this was country music fans that knew how to countryify a song. And the other person that I think maybe deserves like just a little extra, hey, you did a really great job tonight, was I do think that at the end of the day, Daya really did kind of, I didn't think she should have been top 2. Personally, I was very comfortable with her in 3rd, but I really thought that was one of those performances where I just expected Michelle to have a bullshit critique. I expected Michelle to say something like, it just felt like you didn't fill the space you were in. I just thought like whenever we cut to you, we were always going to cut to commercial. Like whatever dumb thing the producer told her to say today, I thought you were a pog. Like, I don't know. But end of the day, Daya gave a performance that was confident, strong, and there, very present. And she didn't stand a chance because it wasn't the narrative this week. But I thought she did a really great job. And this is a group where I like the girls so much, and it does feel like the final 6 of a season. And I just thought that Daya really shown why she was here this week. I am now a big Daya fan. I went from no Bettys to 2 Bettys. I feel very lucky.
Oh, both on stage and off. I really liked her candor and behavior off stage. The moments in Untucked were great. She is, you know, I don't always love the bitch, as it were, but, you know, the real difference is whether or not you're showing multiple facets to yourself outside of just being the bitch. And absolutely, I'm seeing a lot of sides to Daya and really appreciating her talent.
There's one thing I wanted to add. There's a very endearing moment that's only in Untucked where Rue asked Betty, what's been your favorite part about this so far? And asked Betty saying this very, very candid, very real, like, you know, I'm almost 50 and I really don't get to go out a lot and like make new friends. And like the fact that I have 5 people here that like I'm friends with that like want to be friends with me. And like I get to kind of just do this has been just one of the most incredible rewarding experiences. I already loved Acid. I can't love her more now for like, I don't know. There's something just very refreshing at somebody who's, I don't want to even call her old, but older, who's just kind of like, at least the reality of being older. This is what like an older person looks like. She doesn't have work done.
I don't think they're her original teeth.
I let that one slide. People should have the teeth that make them happy.
I also, though, do want to point to that moment because you get the first half of it during the regular show, and if you are not watching Untucked, it very weirdly appears like Acid Betty is crying basically about nothing.
Yep.
And I get that, you know, somebody makes the decision, we got to cut stuff for time, but it does go to show you, like, somebody, I think that was the wrong decision to make. I could point to 8 other things in that episode we could have cut for time to give Acid Betty that full moment, and I'm 100% certain it would have watched better to let the whole thing happen instead of just cutting to this girl crying and leaving in certain, again, like, we had enough time with Orville to cut out 5 seconds here, 5 seconds there. It adds up. Give that to the full Betty moment, just so you literally don't start with her crying out of nowhere. And so, and it's just a reminder that somebody produces and edits this show and makes a decision at all times about what's going to go in on it. And it's not always the right decision for the best episode. Somebody thinks, you know, somebody has to make the subjective call. I think this will make for a better episode. I think they were wrong this time. Not a huge deal at all. You know, it's just because, and you do get the moment later, but not the decision I would have made. I also want to point to another moment from Untucked when they are talking about, it's Cynthia and Ginger talking about just like strategy. And it really, I mean, it made me think so much about Drag Race Draft, because I actually think that is again how you make this its own show. because I think they should be teams when they're. I think it should be some cooperative working together. Like, it would be really cool if the winner got a high tier of money, but then like if this team won, Alyssa, who will probably be the lowest scorer, would still get money for helping to send the competitor that wins. So that team, call it a $500 prize pot.
Something.
And the winner of the show gets $250,000. Second place gets, 200, whatever. And then, but your teammates are incentivized to actually MVQ the MVQ, to actually recognize, like, I know I'm not the best, and I know I'm not going to the semifinals, but let's strategize.
So the anti-Matrix.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
But that is a skill set that they should learn if they want to have longevity. Presumably, the drag queens who put together, if you put together a show, you want to put together a cohesive whole. And so taking your team and running it through this gauntlet every week is something that would be a useful skill to have to succeed out in the real world, which sometimes our challenges are no longer showcasing.
And then my final thing is, I think that everybody but Rue, Michelle, Maddie, let's say Law, and you really wouldn't have Carson or Ross do it, but Ross or what's his name? Flood's Ginger's Basement.
Hollywood Jade.
They would be us. They would be the team producer that is sort of saying, okay, like, guy, I think you should send in this person for the challenge this week. These three are going to be the funniest for an improv challenge. And it would fully be a team sport up to a certain point. And it would just be a way to make another show that is truly a tournament, truly gives us other skills. Again, like as Tori was saying, just that like strategic aspect of it, but also knowing how to program and knowing how to work with other queens, and also knowing kind of like when to step back and like knowing it's not my strength this week. I'm not going to be the one who makes it, so I'm going to send somebody and get something out of it. And then make all-stars for the all-stars. Make it for the people that we gotta see back competing because we know they're gonna kill it. But have this as like these are strong competitors. Everybody who gets on the show is a strong competitor, but like, let's do other stuff.
It's a shame that we can't have like a variety show that once a month is a 90-minute variety show, because the truth is she's amazing, but Nicole Paige Brooks was not coming back to kick ass and take names. She was coming back to take ass and kick names, and it was not gonna happen. And I think she's great.
I think she can still win.
Oh, she could. Oh, totally. And
I think she's definitely getting somebody's vote to go back in at the end.
Oh yeah, and she's still fucking fantastic. But she's not here to win anything.
Yeah,
she's here to look cute in that baseball cap, and that's what she's here to do. I also love her Kohl's blazer.
Yeah, and she's here to remind the young girls who don't go back and watch old seasons why you should, like that, because that is it's wild how many people don't do that. How many people pick this show up, season 10 onward, and never went back and watched any more of it. So they really don't know the older queens.
Oh my god! So they think Jinx is pretty.
She is.
I mean,
you're going to hell.
And like, I understand why they don't, because
of course.
I fully admit that as someone who was like, no, I will start on season 1, episode 1, and I'll watch it. I'll walk in and we'll see how it goes. Yeah. Like that is a very specific way of looking at things. But it also means that like I watched most of season 5 being like, why is Alaska good, not great? Mm-hmm. What's going on here? I was told she was great. And I'm
so happy for you.
And so like that there are things where you're just like something like, I think no matter how you watch this show, if you're culturally aware of it and then you decide to start watching, it's always going to be weird to come in. But I agree. I think going back and watching the old stuff, I mean, watching the old Untucked is the reason we still have Untucked now. Like if you don't like Untucked right now, you got to go back, baby. You got to go back.
But I mean, I get why people absolutely get why people don't. Some people just don't watch TV like that. They
People
watch.
just don't have the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I didn't want to say that because we all have done it, and I didn't want to make it sound like we're just little lazy people sitting there watching TV all day. But you know, some people don't watch that, and so they never knew who Nicole Paige Brooks was. And this, I mean, she will get incredibly good bookings out of this. She has been such a popular character on this version of it. She really showed you exactly who she was. I think she also showed you what she's not going to do. Like, if you have to go to a show and see Shablams and see somebody who is just a young, gorgeous, gonna give it to you that way type of queen, you're probably not going to the Nicole Paige Brooks show. But so many people fell in love with her and saw somebody who that's the party they want to go to. And I think she is going to be working at a great level for herself. And I love that. I support all queens who sort of have something to show to remind people, like, this is what I do. I support them getting the chance to do that. I just think this World of Wonder has to figure out how to, the same way they've got to figure out how to let Puerto Rican queens or Spanish speaking queens succeed and not be, you know, the butt of the joke. They've got to figure out how to let the older girls have some presence as well and not just be here to be like, well, you know, I'm obviously not going to win, but I'm here.
Because that is the difference between a Nicole and a Phoenix.
Yeah.
Versus an Aja, a Tina, or a Ginger.
Yeah.
There are some girls who, and I know Tina's from a later season. I know Tina's not from an early season, but bitches.
She has the energy of
Yes.
Someone who's tired.
She should have been on season 3 or 4.
Yes.
She was probably like 12 at the time. Doesn't matter. That's where she should have been.
And she would have looked fabulous.
Yeah.
I love this conversation because I love that it wound up being about how much we want to see all of these girls succeed, but I don't want to see next
Always
week
what it
succeed.
is.
I hate next week's challenge.
I mean,
I hate it.
Bachelor was funny the first time around. It was one of Trixie's best challenges. A couple other people did well, Jonah. I know you know.
Dela and somebody who should not
Oh.
be.
Crushed.
Kennedy did well too.
Kennedy also did really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
And
they're
then-
adding in the Gottmik Lassie as well.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to feel.
Who absolutely tanked on Milk tanked.
Milk, Aja, and rest her soul, Chichi DeVane.
But no, guys, this is literally just playing into the pup play bullshit. I love, yeah. When a boy comes up to me, he's like, "I'm a good pup. I have my harness and my hood in my bag." I'm like, "That's so cute." You don't put that shit on TV. This is non-con role play.
Okay, I don't know if we're doing pup play. I think we're doing like.
Yeah, they're
They're lady dogs here.
I was gonna
to
say,
pee
and
on
they're
you.
fully. Those are
This-
prosthetic snouts. Those
Yeah,
are not
this is furry.
This feels-
This is furry adjacent.
You know, we're actually.
Yeah.
going-
Yeah.
Talk about park and bark. This is just
It
some
feels more like
shit.
cat.
If somebody does not make a park and bark joke, I think this was all for absolutely nothing.
Nothing.
I don't know. I like the Bitchler improv challenge. I do think it's an okay one, and we did have an improv challenge for the first group, so sure. I do think the dog thing is too much. I think it is not. It's ill-advised.
How do you feel about it for the finale for this group?
I don't care what order they're in. It's 3 is not enough to. I think the bigger thing is everybody should have gotten the exact same mix of challenges. One
Same.
song, one fashion, one improv. And they don't have to be in the same order. And again, I think the order shouldn't matter at all. One fashion, one song, one improv, each group. We should not be mentioning every week how much it sucks that Olivia never got to do a design challenge.
Agreed.
It just is silly. It's not fair to her. It's not fair to everybody else as well. And it just doesn't make sense. So I don't care what order they're in, but 3 standardized challenges for each group. Definitely mix up the order so it doesn't get stale. But you know, and the Bitchler is a good improv challenge. Adding the dog aspect is a terrible idea, just in terms of it's chaotic.
Fine.
It's fine, like it doesn't matter, but like somebody's not going to do well specifically because of the dog aspect of things, who might have done well on just Like even when they said Golden Bitch, I thought they were all going to be doing old person drag, which I think is funny.
Yes,
and
same.
it's fine. I didn't realize it was Golden fucking Retrievers.
I thought it was gonna be Golden Girls as bachelorettes.
Well, the Golden Bachelor is a show.
I thought it would be the Golden Girls as bachelorettes.
Right. So I mean, and even old people is enough of a theme that somebody's gonna screw it up and be a weird old person. But like dog is too weird. It's too much. It's just somebody like, again, I imagine Alyssa and Cynthia having to be both speaking in English and doing dog shit when it's not your first fucking language isn't fair. They're not going to be funny. They're going to say something that was not meant to be dog funny, and then RuPaul's going to laugh at that, and it's just we're going to have the same spiral that we have very frequently.
It's going to be Violet Chachki eating shit in a park again.
That actually still remains one of my favorites. Yeah. I love the challenge overall, and I love that that's what Violet had to do, and like that Violet Chachki of all people, that was her challenge. I think that's funny. That's the universe saying, you want it, you're working for it, motherfucker. You want to be a fashion girl the rest of your life? Eat shit.
It's the opposite of Brooklyn tanking Celine Dion at Snatch Game. You should have been so good at this. Yeah. Why were you so bad at this? And then here comes Violet Chachki, and she's like, I'll eat shit for John Waters.
Yeah,
and it somehow works.
Yeah, we'll see. This I hope it's great. I really hope everybody is successful. I just think, again, this is what I was saying earlier. Somebody makes all these decisions. Subjectively, somebody thought this is the way we should go with another Bitchler, and you don't know if you're right or wrong until the episode airs and everybody responds and your show is out and you see if it worked. But my suspicion is this was a bad idea. And then we'll see.
That, we only have 3 weeks left. We suspect Snatch Game, Rusical, and then Lip Sync Lollapalooza finale. So
I'm dying to know what the elimination schema or point schema is for since it's so short. I really thought it was gonna be at least 5 more episodes.
I also thought that we were doing like a 9 and then like another 6.
Yeah, like I really thought it was
confirmed for 12.
It's that to me is such a bummer.
I'm also just fascinated that we're still like, oh, you can only have 12 episodes for All Stars when MTV just doesn't have any programming.
I was gonna say, you should be so lucky that you have these girls and can make a show with them.
I know that technically All Stars is Paramount. It's not actually technically on MTV.
Well, but they could actually fucking air it if they wanted to and just turn off some ridiculousness.
I was gonna say, just turn off ridiculous and the challenge.
Rob Dyrdek has them in a chokehold with his contract, so no.
I know.
A Miz chokehold.
It really feels like he tricked them in a drinking game. I do not know how we are at this point.
There's a Crossroads demon bleeding blood over that one.
It mostly started when they decided Teen Wolf should be their only drama left.
Oh, we'll whole broadcast about that, just you and I. But this reminded me, speaking of MTV and Cindy numbers, the penultimate episode of this season will be episode 100 of All Stars.
Ooh. The penultimate episode. Wow. I wonder if they'll do anything.
I do too. If that's the Rusical, I wonder if it'll be centered around that.
100 or something.
Maybe they won't even remember. Who knows? But
what if we got Drag Race the musical for the US and they did best moments in Drag Race history and gave them songs?
It comes over from the West End.
I mean,
but what if they did it again?
Don't pitch good ideas, because inevitably they're not going to be that good, and then you just fucking disappoint me, because everything we pitch is something that could work, is not expensive, and this show could do. All right. And instead, Golden Bitchler.
You literally come to this show dressed like an OnlyFans version of Ness, shooting.
I'm so hot, dude. It's 1,000 degrees up here.
I was about to say, automatically you come ready for Earthbound success. You are.
I hope he comes.
Oh, you are too fabulous not to have been disappointed by something in the course of an episode here. Because whether it is dogs doing improv or maybe not being happy with the outcome of the lip sync, or maybe you're like me and one of your biggest regrets is how this organization went. I would have much rather seen 6 classic girls, 6 mid-era girls, 6 modern girls face off. Break it down by like seasons 1 to 6, seasons 7 to 12, and seasons 13 to 17, and an asterisk in case they need Jimbo back again, you dirty old man. So we can't wait to finish our stream. But I would have really rather seen these girls compete a little bit differently. But if there's anything I'm really excited about, I really want to see Aja Hayukin Mistress right in the ego. I don't think Aja's going to take the whole thing, but Aja has something really, I don't know. So these geniuses started me on 5, 9, and 15. And so I watched 5, 9, and 15 in about 2 months. And most of my favorite queens are really from those seasons. Aja is somebody that I feel a really personal connection to, as somebody who feels like I've never achieved what I was always meant to. And like that has been Aja's MO until this season, where she is just the woman she's always been meant to be, and she's so happy. And like, I truly believe that Aja is going to have that Captain Marvel, just Thanos punches her right in the face and she's just mildly inconvenienced. And like, that is probably my favorite moment in any movie ever. And so that's what I want for Aja with Mistress. Guys, I want to finish this episode out talking about the stuff we love. I love Aja. I love this season, and I can't wait to see more. Somebody hit me with love. Everybody say love.
Love.
Who do you love?
This old ranch hand over here.
I mean, I love Daya. Nico and I were having a conversation earlier this week about just like, this is a group with really good energy. And this could launch us into a whole other conversation, but like, I love the energy that this group has, but there is so little drama. I don't care. I love that. That's fine for me, but I can almost understand how there would be a concern of like, they're not giving good TV. Which is why I sort of wonder about the Denali meltdown, because that's something to have for
right.
Like, and you can cut it to be so like, I'm just really curious, but I love their energy, and like the untucked conversation about friendship was the closest we have gotten in such a long time to those moments we got in like Canada last season, where I was like, every episode is a fucking learning experience on Canada this season, and I'm moved to tears, and I'm learning about like the trans experience, the native experience, the trans native experience, and like they're erudite, but the show's cutting it so it's not awkward. They're somehow cutting it so that however the topics came up, maybe it wasn't natural, but it doesn't feel like it does on mainline Drag Race, where sometimes it will be like, so Queen, tell me about the time you were molested, and then we have to go through the whole thing. That conversation that they had just about it being nice to have friends was one of the most natural, most relatable, really genuinely felt like such a true moment that we all can understand and connect to. That came not out of somebody being like, you have to talk about drama, you have to expose yourself and like your rawest nerve, but instead like, who knows how it happened, but it really came off correct. And I hope that, again, that's another lesson, the subjective thing. Like, you as a producer might think to yourself, no, I think what I got to produce is my 2 girls yelling at each other, because that's going to get things going. You might be right, but it also might be possible that you could create good TV out of somebody just saying it's nice to have a friend, and that's spawning a whole conversation where everybody sort of gets into it and goes, yeah, it's really nice to have friends. I love you and I love you. I love that this episode. It's been really nice to see. We've seen a lot of other great camaraderie and friendship in these seasons, and I think there's ways to turn that into something just as worthy of 15 minutes of side conversation on the show as, you know, Mistress just being an absolute fucking gremlin at all times.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's sort of what we were coming to when we were at the end of the pink bracket of what does this show want to be? Does it want to have these like high stakes, crazy moments that cause, you know, panic attacks and nervous breakdowns and storming aways and physical fights? Or are we a show about 15 girls coming together and finding friendship as they get slowly picked off by a crazy lady behind a pink box.
Oh, you mean Yellow Jackets?
Yeah.
Well,
So-
and, if you have personal or professional drama, that's relatable too. Like, you can have
Right.
that. We can
Like,
we can
and
get
there's-
into it a little bit, but
Right.
what are we doing? How far does this go, and why?
Right. And at the end of the day, I think as always, we have to take our cues from the queens on, what is actually a hurt versus what is just, we were playing up for TV. But that's going to get harder and harder to do when the queens decide that, no, I live 24/7 in my character because I have a YouTube channel to promote. And so I personally am more of a fan of the type of reality show where we all come together under a tent and bake a cake. So I've been enjoying this bracket a whole lot. I've been enjoying seeing the softer side of some of our gals. And I've really been enjoying, the queens that I like are doing very well. The queens that I'm not as fond of are still bringing their best and making their fans happy. I really enjoyed All Stars 9, but I think this is one of our better All Star seasons across the board.
I just want to say, Mary, I don't know enough about Love Island, but I definitely read a lot of really trashy reality TV recaps, and I have to agree with you from what I have read. My God.
It took me forever to figure out that wasn't Hoda on Love Island.
Can I tell you that
Hoda
was
doing there?
Tori, can I tell you how many Morning Digest? How many Morning Digest? Thank you for being with me. Thank you.
Hey.
Do you want to go first or me?
You go first, Kevin.
You go first.
No, okay. To follow on Tori and to also build on what TK was saying, something I really hope is that the girls like Tina and Tranos are able to watch the rest of this season and see the girls they didn't get to be paired with, and see that there are girls better representing the kind of camaraderie that they were here for and hoping for. And like I said, to build on what TK said, and the moment with Acid and being so candid about looking for friends, and that moment of everyone saying we are family here, call the girls that weren't in your bracket. The thing is, this is a sorority, and I wish these girls would feel more encouraged in that regard, especially when you see I see you're excited, but I think I'm gonna need a little bit more than.
I don't know why.
That is bird brain. That's bird brain, right?
I do not. Oh, is it? Hold on. No, it is not. But I love where your head's at.
Anyway, I was making a heartfelt point. Continue.
Speaking of heartfelt points, what I love this week, I love that Denali got a win. I love that Ginger Sweet in the competition. I love that dialogue, and I'm falling in love with all these queens. I'm really enjoying this bracket, and I'm very excited to see what Aza's about to pull out, because she said that she's going to turn the point game all on its head. And I wonder if Dio will be getting any points this week. So I'm excited to see what that means. I'm excited to see if they're just like, we all pick together, whoever Dia gives her points to, we're all going to give it to that person. And just shoot somebody else to the head.
I was thinking it was going to be, I'll give her, she was going to campaign, and they were all going to give their points to Dia.
I
don't know, that there seems to be some kerfuffle happening between Alyssa and Dia. So God only knows. God only knows.
The bitch.
The bitch.
You could mathematically push Ginger out if you worked really hard and she bombed the next challenge.
You'd have to
I want
work
to see
really
Ginger
hard,
make
and
it.
she's not gonna bomb the next
Oh
challenge.
my God, she could not possibly.
Get the bomb the next challenge. Two people just have to do better.
Oh, that's true. But I mean, like, I genuinely don't think that unless somebody hands this bitch a Sharpie and a lipstick, she's going home. So she'd have to put her own goddamn. Oh, it's whiteout. Thank you. She'd have to put her own goddamn name on a lipstick to go home.
It's kept this season interesting, is that we haven't really known what's going to happen. We keep saying this is going to be the bracket where Rue is going to engineer a tie. So who will it be?
Yeah.
The only tie that I want to talk about is the fact that Rue keeps wearing boy drag. I'm coming for you. No, I'm kidding.
It's a good thing that Rue is wearing boy drag, as am I today, because if you don't know, at 9 o'clock tonight on Reverie.com, you can watch the new show, King of Drag.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to watch it as a team. See how it goes. Because I want to be clear. One of the worst decisions we ever made as a team was getting too excited about Project Runway's return, and then it was a disaster. And Karasan was not treated like a goddess, and so I don't care. But
we're about to do that to ourselves again, are we not?
Well, it's because Utica's gonna win.
This season has Heidi back, which but like Heidi as the host is very important because she's so fucking unhinged, and the things she says are so bizarre.
They're very fun.
I mean, I think it's also really important to get rid of Carrie Kloss, so that's
Carly,
whatever.
And now it's going to be Christian and Heidi and Utica and 2 other returning contestants. So I'm really excited. We're going to watch that. We're going to watch this. We're going to watch Aki. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. I just wanted to make sure that all the Spanish people were in on the fun. But Jonah, you were telling us, where can we find you?
You can find me places, not in this box, online at Peak Jonah.
Oh, he doesn't want to be in my box. Okay.
No, I love this box. But I also like giving you your own space.
I appreciate that. But speaking of a space that I would always want to occupy, Tori, I just want to be clear with you. You show up to this episode looking like you're going to mock my salsa from being from New York City, right? And I am obsessed with your 90s cowboy aesthetic. You are Pace Picante, and you are absolutely everything. Where can we find you online?
Baby, I'm a giver. You can find me online at smtori. That's Tori with an I. Thank you for dealing with my incredible cold this week and my octave lower voice.
You're fine.
I love that. Mary, you don't understand my weird relationship with Karasan, one of the most important people in the history of television. Oh my god, I love her so much.
Just don't ask her to make shoes for you,
because she will outsource that and then lie on the receipt. KEVO, speaking of people who never lie about the receipts, man, you are absolutely a king, a triumph. As we said earlier, you are a mazewa and gorgewa. And we love you. And where can we find you on the interwebs?
You can find me at Kevo Really. That's KEVO
Now, this is an unusual situation because usually this man is only one kind of hot, but today he gets to be double hot, which describes his double hotness. TK, Mr. Kinesis, if people want to follow you, if they want to know more about your thoughts on this show, and if they want to get a better sense of what you do, where can they find you?
You can probably find me in a walk-in freezer somewhere, just trying to survive. But once I get out, or if there's phone service in the walk-in, you can find me at TK Accidental on Blue Sky and Instagram. And last but not least, take it away.
Oh, geez. So I'm Nico. Find me at Nico Action, NICOACTION. Check out my music at Nico Action Music, NICOACTION MUSIC. But the most important thing you guys could do for me is you guys could check out this show. Like, comment, and subscribe. HTML, X is for show, X is for podcast, X is for comics. A whole lot of shit you guys can do. We do this a bunch of times a week. Number 1, stay safe. Number 2, be brave. But number 3, please evolve daily. Who you were yesterday, beautiful. Who you are today, amazing. Who you are tomorrow, gorgeous. And we cannot wait to come back and see you then. So just keep being a fucking badass.
Bye.
Mm-hmm.